come on, wings of burning hate, a cyber storm to seal your fate. The Redlers dive from the twilight black. No warning, no mercy, just attack. No speed or claws of pain, blades in tails like acid rain. And the Empire's wrath, it fills the sky. Where dragons soar, the heroes die. Monster machines, twilight wings in the setting sun. The battle's lost before it's begun. Monster machines, Redler through the sky like steel. Redler, no mercy, no fear to feel. Fangs of Kylos, hearts aflame, burning skies in the Empire's name. Redlers with wings like thunder cry. The war song screams across the sky. But from the hills and ocean air, the terrors rise, proud and fair. Riddles scream in tight-winged flocks, defending freedom on shattered rocks. Against the dark of molecular might, the sky still burns with freedom's light. Photos roar from the plains below, while lightning terror strike the blow. Monster machines, monster machines, right to wing, fire to soul. The storm consumes, it takes control. In burning clouds, the fate is cast. Only one flight will ever last. Monster machines, Redlers, the terror of the sky. Redlers, hear their violent cry. But in the smoke of thunder's fire, the flames still rise, never tire. Monster machines. Bonza they fly, the dragon swarm, bringers of war in lightning form. But in the smoke of thunder's fire, the brave still rise, never tire. Monster machines, Redler, through the sky like steel. Redler, no mercy, no fear to feel. Fangs of Kylos, hearts aflame, burning skies in the Empire's name. With wings like thunder cry, the war song screams across the sky. The monster machines. The void of the stars, a lone wolf screams. Star, the broken, torn at the seams. Steel beasts clash in the fiery tide. From the central plains to the oceans wide. From mountains high to the desert stone, march the heroes carved in chrome. Shield lickers run with a howling might. Command wolf strike in the dead of night. Godos roar on shattered ground, where liberty and steel are bound. That thunder stops, the earth will shake. For freedom's flame, make no mistake. Zoids, thanks to metal hearts of fire. Zoids, in the storm we rise up higher. Republic's thunder, steel defenders roll through burning skies and battles toll. Zoids, this is the final stand. Mad thunder and the Ultrasaurus command. From shadows deep and wasteland blight, march the claws of the endless night. Hellcats stalk with silken death, sinkers soar with missile breath. The red horn charges cold and grim, death summer wakes on chaos whim. Their warpath scorch the justice blind, a ruthless march for a twisted mind. One is thunder, one is doom. They clash beneath sea's blood-red moon. Giant horns clash, cannon fire rains. One will fall and break the chain. Mad thunder charges defiant roar, what depths of a hungers for the war. Zoids, justice rolling like a storm. Zoids, in shattered cities hope is born. Barricades blaze the swamps and fire. Rain or scream from the clouds like a choir. Zoids, marching for the light of sight, with cannon fire and battle cry. Let the titles tremble, let darkness flee. The hellish flame burns wild and free. With every god of terror and command wolf, we hold the line on sea's last gulf. The war drums thunder, the Zoids don't yield. The last stand roars on the battlefield. Zoids.
Metallic giants rise from iron grounds. Blue guardians down the heart. Lights and fury in the sky.